Welcome one and welcome all to another stream of the Gaming Kitchen. This is another stream where I go over what I'm creating, what I'm doing, what I'm building. So what you are looking at right here is 102%, which by the way, wasn't 102% when I built this ballpark, but it was 102% to finish the ultimate version of Memorial Stadium. This version of Memorial Stadium is uploaded now in the vault, available for play offline. If you guys are interested in doing online stuff, it's online. You can convert this field to whatever you like. I'm not going to do it. I'm moving on to other stuff. So this right here is probably one of the biggest accomplishments to achieve when doing this ballpark. This was the my swan song to Memorial Stadium until I can do the road version, the one in which I showed you guys, which is a template version for anybody who wishes to play with it, upload it, do your thing. This right here is the 1990 to 1991 version of Memorial Stadium. This is the one in which will count if you're playing franchise or something like that. If you want to have a Natty Bow team, you can use this stadium. You can use this ballpark. This ballpark is applicable for the 1990 Orioles or 1991 roster. If you guys are roster purists as yourself, this is the one that is a labor of love. I have tirelessly did a lot of research on this stadium here, on the topography and everything included in order to get this thing as good as possible. The only thing I would change, if I had a chance to change it, would be the roads and the streets, since we now have the ability to elevate things and do stuff like that. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen. I think in this type of scenario right here, with the brick, which somehow costs a lot, the concrete somehow costs a lot, the tiling that costs a lot, this is as good as I'm going to get, and I'm A-okay with it. I am severely thankful that I was able to pull this off before the update, because this got grandfathered in, and this is as good as it's going to get. So this is the 1991 closeout version of Memorial Stadium, and I want to show you guys what else I'm working on right now. For people who don't understand what I'm working on or don't know what I'm working on, allow me to show you. Because MLB The Show 24 for the first time ever had the parlay of your previous ballparks that you worked on, I don't have to work on that many. I've done the Astrodome. I've done the Kingdome. I've done those. I don't suggest playing them because guess what? They took out the assets. So they took out the assets. They took out the quote-unquote anomalies. And so there is no more dome. Okay? There is no more dome. This right here is my current project that I'm almost done with. This right here is Baltimore's Municipal Stadium. That will be done tonight. Okay? That will be done tonight, because all I got to do, I have the walk-up ramps done. All I got to do now is the wood planks and the wood plies and everything, and then everything's going to be copacetic and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on. That's what's going to be near finish. Using the same map overlay as I did with the other previous Memorial Stadiums. I'm going to use the time spacage as an excuse and ability to use these new roads. Hopefully I can get it in. Hopefully I can get it structured and get it done, because that's what I'm gunning for and that's what I'm aiming for. So this right here is a version that I'm working on right now. It's almost done. I say about 80% complete, and then I will be moving on to the next one. This is a project right here that is a part of the Baltimore Baseball Legacy Collection. I have the Memorial Stadium Legacy Collection that goes from 1950 all the way down to 1991, which is for 1950, 1953. It's your minor league international Orioles. 1954 to 1991, your Major League Baseball Orioles that we know and love if you're an Orioles fan. And 1993, for the first time I've ever done that in this stadium building thing, which was a last year for baseball of any sort and the first year of the Bowie Bay Sox. Bowie Bay Sox played Memorial Stadium in 1993 before moving on to Prince George's Stadium in 1994. Okay, that's the last of the stadium. The last piece for Memorial Stadium is going to be Stadium Place. That's what's currently there now. Okay, with the Oval Park, if you guys are accustomed to my videos, I took a trip out there last October before the baseball playoffs kicked off because I knew I was going to be busy. And I worked on that. And that's going to be coming soon. So this right here is, we're going back. Baltimore's Municipal Stadium. All the Oriole Parks are going to get done. Oriole Park 1 through 5. The 6th one is Camden Yards. While I'm on that topic, I did tell you guys that I was going to be working on Camden Yards to show you guys how to properly do Camden Yards in the most limited mode that we have in regards to customization and stadium building. So, I have taken the liberty to, for the first time ever, seriously, by the way, I've attempted it before, but I never wanted to do it because I wouldn't be doing Camden Yards justice. It's one of my favorite ballparks other than Memorial Stadium, other than Ebbets Field, other than all the rest of them. This is Oriole Park at Camden Yards. This is the 1992 version. It's the 1992 version. The field layout is already done. This is a template right here. This template is done. Now, what I will do, for all you ballpark connoisseurs, so that you don't have to do any work or do any hard work yourselves, and this is something that SDS should have done, in all honesty, is these are I'm trying to make pre-made professional baseball ballpark fields. The most difficult thing you can do is find the shapes of these. This is already in its 1992 shape right here. Okay? This right here is a project in which I'm going to do. I'm going to be working as best as possible to the best of my abilities to make, by far, one of the most accurate Camden Yards that I can possibly make. Just as much as I worked hard to make, by far, the most accurate Memorial Stadium that you can make. Problem is, they cut this ballpark off right here. So, I have a little bit of time. It's 4:29, 4:30. Today, this evening when I come back, I'm going to be working on Baltimore's Municipal Stadium, and then I'll be moving forward to this. But basically, everything that needs to be laid out in this has been laid out and is in need of just adding more things to it. So that's pretty much it right there that needs to be added. So, this right here gets a little tricky, gets a little glitchy. So, we're going to add that. This is probably a little off, give or take. See, I don't like that. The older versions of MLB The Show, you could have picked an orange or a red door, but you can't do it in this one for whatever reason. So, that's that. It's a little weird that you can't do that, but we're going to move it over here. Okay. Straighten this up. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't glitch. Hopefully this doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. It's very key and very essential. So, one thing I suggest to do, I make that 318. One thing I suggest to do when building Camden Yards is to understand one simple thing and one thing only. This is a ballpark that SDS has worked on in the past. And generally, my rule of thumb is I don't like working on ballparks that are already in the game because they're already in the game. What are you going to do? but um, but I like to test my wits sometimes and see what I can do with the older version. So this right here, when I upload this, I'm going to upload this in a template format. I'm not going to complete this yet because I still got a little bit more research to do on Camden Yards, even though I frequent this place a lot. The mentality you got to have in order to build is a lot different than what it is when you're just going to a ballpark to play a game. Okay? So this right here has been accurately measured to be 16 feet below street level. Okay? So this is accurately 16 feet right here to street level. This is how far it is between the playing field and the street level that you see on the way to Camden Yards. So you already have this as a place marker in here right now. The warehouse I've made longer. If you check the game and you see the game that they have, they do a very spotty job in regards to they do a very spotty job in regards to getting the warehouse. The warehouse is cut off. Warehouse extends past the warehouse extends past what you call. Warehouse extends past the stadium itself, the ballpark itself, excuse me. And on that note, it's a lot longer. And right here, what they give you this half-baked version, which they cut off the bottom portion for whatever reason. And so that makes it a little bit difficult. I'm going to show you guys what's missing here. Okay. This ballpark to do is a little bit trickier than what's it called? It's a little bit trickier to do than, say, Memorial Stadium per se, because there's a little bit more things that are to it. So this right here is the ironing that you need towards adding on to this. Okay. A lot of people, when they build Camden Yards, they make the mistake of not including this. Okay? They don't include this. You got to include this. Okay? See how much memory this takes up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way down. Okay? Now, this ironing right here does not go fully through Camden Yards. It goes all the way from the entrance of the gate all the way up until Utah Street. There's green steel and all that type of stuff, and whatever that is, I probably can't be able to include that on this, but this right here is how you make this warehouse. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. This is from the goodness of my heart. I want to share with people the wealth. So if you guys want to, start out raw and build Memorial Stadium, build Memorial Stadium. If you guys want to start out raw and, test and play with, what's it called, Camden Yards, you can do that as well. It's no problem whatsoever with me. I don't feel like hoarding any of this stuff. I like passing on the knowledge per se as to where this goes. And then if things change, I will go back myself and make edits. I'm going to leave these as pre-edits, and you guys can go in and build Camden Yards yourself. If you want to do if you guys like Natty Bo and you want to do a Natty Bo, because they do have Natty Bo jerseys and all that stuff now and everything. You guys want to do a Natty Bo ballpark, you can add this part of it. It's going to be preconditioned with this. So, here you go. This is all your stuff. The 1992 version is in its infancy. And, the 1992 version does not have all the amenities that the Camden Yards of now has. There's a lot of stuff that wasn't painted yet. wasn't organized yet, wasn't bolted down yet in regards to the colors and all things like that. So, you know, that's going to be here. There's going to be a lot of stuff because you can't change colors per se. That's going to create a problem as well. But for the most part, this is just the structure. Camden Yards sits about 16 feet below street level. So you have that. This version does not have the hotel in it because the hotel was built in the late 2000s, I believe. Late 2000s, because I remember going to games at Camden Yards before then. So now this is the reason why I never wanted to touch this ballpark per se is because this ballpark is very special to me. I don't like the way SDS has done the ballpark, as in not update the thing since last decade. And I feel like myself, I wouldn't be doing this thing any justice. And I'm the type of person where, if I'm playing in a ballpark, if I'm playing in a ballpark or I'm building a ballpark, I want to have the best chance. Okay. Sorry, I had to fill out some stuff. This is the stuff that's included with it. This obviously is not done. There's a little bit more things that need to be added. There's a lot of, straightening up that needs to be done. But for the most part, this is the layout to Camden Yards field as of 1992. It's a little bit different because, per se, the limitations of the foul lines. But I'm just trying to, for all intents and purpose here, get some stuff out the way that could be. Shit, I'll stay for money. I'll stay for money. It don't hurt me. Shit. Okay. Yeah, see, that's not going to work either because that's too big. I need something that's going to come in there and it's going to yeah, see. Though this would be nice to use for like an opening day version because they don't have ribbons in this game. But eh, it would eat the heck out of me. going to look up and see right here where the 1992 scoreboard is. Okay. I'm trying to see how many scoreboard pieces they have on this thing. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can use for signs. I know I always tell people to start out with like your street structures and stuff, which is probably what I'm going to do next. Because that way you get a feel for your buildings, your building placage, and all that. One of the things they messed up in this game, especially with this right here, is Dave. See, this is what I'm talking about. You can't. So everything up there is. Oh, that's so annoying. It shouldn't be like that, man. All right, let's see what I can get away with. Okay. Anyways, let me see. Let's see what I can do. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what I can do here. Man. As you guys are looking, this is why I don't. This is why I don't like. This is why I don't like doing this ballpark because it's fine. I'm looking for. Looking for. Actually, wait a minute. Oh, this is just good. This is just good. But the only problem is, yeah, that's the only problem. Yeah, let me see. Let me see about this. Because you need something that's going to be on. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back to that. I like that. It's just narrow enough for it to work too. But let's see what we got. there's these two buildings that got signages on them, and if you can use them, that's great. Let's see what I can do with this. Let's see what I can do with this right here. Can you? Let's see something. No, I'm stupid. I'm stupid, guys. My mistake. Oh man, you know, you go through this. The weird thing about building this, and I will tell you guys when if you guys take this one for yourselves, is that this right here is no different than this right here is no different than taking on Ebbets Field. Ebbets Field legitimately has the same type of Ebbets Field has the same type of stuff with it. So you're going to try to finagle and angle your way to get everything in there that you're going to. I'm for certain knowing that Camden Yards is not going to stay strict to the script here with it's not going to be strict to the script as in like how far I can get everything. So this is I believe 25 feet. The original scoreboard. Now the scoreboard is 21 feet. So we got 26, 25. So let's bring this down a little bit, right about here. Okay. For the time being, I'm going to keep that there. Okay, so this isn't good until you get there. This isn't good until you get there. This one isn't good until you get there. Those obviously. Yeah, in theory, this might work per se, but I don't know. It doesn't have, you're not capable of adding anything of significance to this. So I think just for the sake of it being as close as it can, I think like that's just it. And, just let it be like that. You get the scoreboard over there. Try to get as close as possible, but there's this weird hang up with the foul line. So delete props. And then this acts all weird. Okay. And that should work Hey, welcome, Max. Yeah, I try to cover some stuff in the first minutes of me doing this, but you probably missed some stuff. So I I have been talking about doing Oriole Park and Camden Yards. I'm currently working on two right now. I'm working on God in heaven. I'm working on Baltimore Municipal Stadium. Okay, and once I'm done with that, I'll be working on that as well. But what I also had, and I said once I finished Memorial Stadium, that I was going to be working on doing a tutorial for how to do Camden Yards, and that's coming right now. This is what you're looking at, and of course, this is the boundary that doesn't make any sense. I don't get this, but whatever. Um, anyways, I'm not ranting today. I'm not doing it. Not gonna happen. I'm not doing it. Here we go. So anyway, welcome, Max. This is Oriole Park and Camden Yards that I'm working on, and I got to get the lights and all this stuff straightened out and done right. I'm kind of going on a. I think that one looks a little more accurate, right? So I can't even put the lights. Scoreboard is because 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't even do that because of how that is. But I don't think the warehouse is this close anyway. So we got 4 warehouse. Any questions anyone has, because it's 5:05, I will be most likely heading out in the next 20 minutes to the gym. And why is this going off? This is so annoying. And it's so annoying, like how this is. That's kind of cool. They have the glass material in here. That's interesting. But I'm going to have to figure out. Let me see what you guys are saying in the live, because I never look at the YouTube live thing. Sounds like it's windy here. Well, Max, they waited until the Maryland Stadium Authority basically. They waited until the Maryland Stadium Authority came along, because without the Maryland Stadium Authority, you don't get the Baltimore Orioles at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Oriole Park at Camden Yards doesn't exist without the Maryland Stadium Authority. Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't. And to be quite honest with you, if to be quite honest with you, I've gone back and forth with this because I said this to Bruce Cunningham. I don't know if you know who Bruce Cunningham is. Bruce Cunningham is a former talent here in Baltimore. He did radio, Fox 45, and I was inquiring like what history would have been like if the Maryland Stadium Authority existed when the Orioles were at Memorial Stadium. And in all honesty, as much as I love Memorial Stadium, Maryland has a tendency in its history of retaining and trying to preserve stuff. Maryland has a history of being very piss poor, for lack of a better word. Maryland has a very piss poor time, just very piss poor time in regards to preserving, maintaining, structuring, organizing historical stuff. It is nothing for them to go and literally destroy something, demolish something, and that's just it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no debates. There's, we got a rec system, a rec company that comes in. We got a rec organization that we want to do. We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to structure this. We want to structure that. And there's no preservations. There's no thought process that goes into it. It's, well, hey, look, churches have come and gone. Places have come and gone. That can come and go. I truly believe Memorial Stadium, if Memorial Stadium had a Maryland Stadium Authority, like, say, the Maryland Stadium Authority we have now in Maryland, you would probably still have a Memorial Stadium. Now, I mean, I'm not one for going on, I'm not one for going on speculation and alternate history, even though that was one of my specialties in creating what if scenarios, alternate history, if you must. But the Maryland Stadium Authority exists because of Memorial Stadium. And if you look at, for all intents and purpose, if you look at Pimlico, if you're quite fond of that, if you look at Pimlico and what Pimlico has gone through now, it comes to no surprise about the conditions and the politics and the discrepancies and the idiosyncrasies and all the delays and all the stuff that happens. You have to ask yourself, like, how does that happen? How does that occur? But you notice that, like, in that type of scenario, we have Pimlico here that is 150-some-year-old, 149-year-old facility that has been, over the years, renovated and everything, and to the point now it's about as dilapidated as Memorial Stadium once was, and outdated. But the fact that, like, you have so much politics and so much red tape and so many red herrings that come through that delay the progress of something like that, it makes you wonder. Like, the state of Memorial Stadium was the same exact way. By the time you get down to the late 90s, that place was dilapidated and gone. And then it was abandoned for, 3 years? You had intruders, graffiti, all that type of stuff, broken glass, all that stuff, rats, roaches, infestations. I truly believe if the Maryland Stadium Authority was a concept that was made in the sense of being proactive instead of reactive, Memorial Stadium would have had a better renovation plan. It would have had a better modernization plan. You know, and for example, you have cities that have done this. Look no further than uh, Chicago with Wrigley Field. Look no further with Boston with Fenway Park. You know, look no further than that, and look at how they preserved those things. Look at Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium was built in 1961, so we're talking about 63 years now. It's still going. I mean, Memorial Stadium is only about 7 years older. It would have been about 70 some years now. Like, I'm glad for Camden Yards. I think Camden Yards is a very special ballpark. I think there are certain pieces of architecture and certain things that comes along in life that pushes the ball forward and gives you that prospect of, if we did not have this, then where would we be at right now? But you can't help but to think, like, when you sit up here and you look at Pimlico, because I go to Preakness and I go to all that stuff around here, you cannot help but to think that if there was a better proactive system involved, like, where would things be at right now as opposed to where you would have it? Because if the Colts didn't move from Baltimore, the Maryland Stadium Authority does not exist. Memorial Stadium, still exists the way it is. There had to be a plan implemented to keep ownership satisfied, to keep fans from being robbed. All those things had to be implemented. All those things had to take place. And it was just a snowball rolling down the hill with the sense of, we got to make sure this never happens again. We got to make sure that the Ravens are satisfied here, no matter who's the owner, so that this never happens again. We got to make sure that, whoever the owner of the Orioles is, now we know it's Rubenstein, but we got to make sure that this never happens again. Because if it does happen again, we didn't learn from our mistakes. But as I dig deeper in my research to Memorial Stadium, I started seeing implemented upgrades that were done throughout the years. I saw the stats and everything. The fact that, you had 14 men's rooms compared to what Camden Yards had, which is 20-some women rooms and bathrooms. Like, fans were deeply pressed in giving their 2 cents as to saying, what they wanted from Camden Yards and what they didn't get with Memorial Stadium. And then you look at Memorial Stadium had the towers that were added onto it, and then with the towers that were added onto it, they then added multi-facilities and the building by 1985 and the 86 season to conclude. But there were renovations and plans in talk, even in the 60s. There was a plan for a new Baltimore stadium, the Balto Dome and everything that was to be built around the area of Camden Yards. So it's always been in talk and it's always been in plan, but it's just that the politics in Baltimore, with Schmoke, coming through and Schaefer coming through, and Schaefer wanted to preserve Memorial Stadium. He wanted to preserve the facade. I just think that how things are handled here, how we just tear stuff down and give no second thought to it, to, respect it so that when future generations come along, they can see something, they can respect it, they can acknowledge it. I don't understand it. I understand the Memorial Stadium thing to a certain degree. I understand that the facility itself was past the point of no return. But if you go down there to Stadium Place and you truly see Stadium Place and where everything is and all that, it's just terrible. There's a little bit of, hey, there was a ballpark that existed here a while back. But other than that, like there's nothing there that's going to like make the new generation come about and respect the game that's been there. No one knows the history that it was Venerable Park at one time. No one knows that there were two stadiums on that plot of land, plus the park, and that's it. And I've talked to a lot of people who are out there who are a lot older than me. Like I talked to Bruce Cunningham about it, and he even said, the memorial wall, the way the memorial wall was built for Memorial Stadium was that it was added on after the 58 during the 58 season. The stadium, the upper deck was built, and then they had the last piece was added on, which was the memorial wall. And they structured it to be a part of the three sections that are behind home plate. That thing couldn't stand up by itself. It was wavering back and forth, which is understandable. But I feel like people's emotions and being in denial with like the way things are, like people just be like, at least keep the memorial wall up. Because in all honesty, to play devil's advocate, they do have a point. In all honesty, they do have a point in the sense that, like, tearing down that wall was a monument to the soldiers who died in World War I and World War II. But they've rededicated it. Time will not dim the glory of their deeds with a memorial outside of Camden Yards heading north, I think. But is it the same? Probably not. I just think Maryland has a very terrible way of like preserving stuff, and they just, here you have very little land, especially in the city. You have very little land, so any sense of preservations, any sense of keeping things around is just, a little marker on a parking lot, and then you just go on with your life and you go on with your day. I don't know, but to me, it's a very interesting conversation. I would love to inquire and say, hey, I really wonder what would have been if Maryland Stadium Authority existed for Memorial Stadium instead of Camden Yards. The Orioles were apparently at a rumor were threatening to move as well, and Baltimore, having lost the Colts, didn't want to lose the Orioles. So, God bless Larry Lucchino. May he rest in peace. Without him, you don't get none of this stuff. There's a lot of people that played a major role who's not Angelos, by the way, who played a major role in getting this stuff situated and good the way that it is. And without it, you would not have the Orioles in Baltimore. You would not have Camden Yards. You would not have the Maryland Stadium Authority. And that's something to never forget. So that's my 2 cents. I got 9 minutes left on this. I'm going to try and do some work. Like I said before, this is a Camden Yards template, 1992. I'll be uploading this in its current state. So if anybody else wants to use it for their own stuff, practicing and stuff like that, I already have a piece, I already have a measuring template that you can go by. This is 16 feet. Camden Yards is 16 feet below street level. So this right here, ladies and gents, is 16 feet. This is what you're looking at. 16 feet above this street level that you see right here. So, it's not much work you got to do. Everything's pretty much been done per se for you. I have no problem giving this template up. I have a Memorial Stadium template. If anybody knows any further, I got other templates for Brewers Stadium and stuff. I honestly don't own the make and likenesses of this stuff. This is just an artistic interpretation. But I would like other people to learn. I would like people to have fun and start out and get immersed in how to do this stuff. So as I mentioned before, Baltimore Municipal Stadium is coming soon. This is coming soon. I got other ballparks lined up coming soon. It is going to be a very fun and interesting season, and hopefully SDS will patch a lot of this stuff up, because this right here doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that. I don't understand why I can't get this close here. I don't get that, but whatever. Okay. So that's that. One thing I'm trying to figure out is I'm trying to figure out the street level. Once I get the warehouse and everything straightened out, that's going to be good, and then I will be peachy keen. But this right here is the 1992 Oriole Park at Camden Yards. I got the field all straightened out, and that is something that that's going to be important going forward. This right here is going to get a little bit tricky because there is a split right about here, and I'm not doing this right here, but I got to figure out what to use for this. I got to figure out what to use for that because, yeah. So that's what that's looking like. Okay. That's what that is looking like. So yeah, so there's very limited options in regards to this. There are definitely box seats. There's definitely stuff that needs to be implemented, put in. But yeah, I am going to be. That's going to be a work. This is why I, honest to God, I accept any challenge to build any ballpark in this game except for Camden Yards. I hate how limited I am when it comes to this ballpark. Because this ballpark right here, much like Ebbets Field, is a very unique ballpark. Very unique. In fact, Ebbets Field, if you can build Ebbets Field, you can build Camden Yards because it's almost a carbon copy of the exact same thing. It's actually made in the same C shape that it is. The only difference is that Ebbets Field is very cut sleek, very sleek cut, very short foul lines and stuff like that. Camden Yards took its inspiration from that. That's how you get the scoreboard and the right side and all that type of stuff. It's a combination and a mixed match of everything that was good about all the classical ballparks fitted in and jumped into one. But you know, this is it. So as I said before, this right here is measured to 16 feet. This is street level, so use it wisely. I got you guys started out. I hate to say this is going to be a little bit more difficult than Memorial Stadium, maybe because Memorial Stadium I'm used to. But Camden Yards I've visited, so all I got to do is just get reacquainted with this thing. Get reacquainted with it, use it, figure out everything, because this scoreboard is now 25 feet tall as opposed to 21 feet, which is what it is now. So I got to get all that straightened out and figure out the length and the width of everything and how all that goes. You guys know how that goes. So, but yeah, it's 5:27. I'll be heading out soon. This is a very short stream. Guys, take care of yourselves. Be safe. Stay awesome. I'll be uploading this before I get out of here, so you guys can have fun with it. Do what you want to do. And I'll check you guys later. Peace.